Hey guys, this is Tiffany with the Nerdettes, and I'm here, oh my goodness, to talk about The Walking Dead, and this is Season 8, Episode 4, called Some Guy. And I actually watched this when it came out, and I apologize, I'm a little late recording this video. My internet's been a little wonky, so I apologize in advance for being late with this, but I definitely wanted to cover it as quickly as possible because this episode, oh my gosh. Whew, oh gosh, I'm still a little, oh my god. Anyway, so, I've been kind of disappointed with the past few episodes, and, it's like, okay, are we ever gonna, move forward, I feel like, when you're in the middle of an anime and there's too much filler, that's what I feel like. But this episode, finally things are happening. It's like when Goku goes into God mode or something. So, but yeah, finally we have some things moving and happening, and so this episode, Some Guy, it really focuses on Ezekiel, and it picks up right where we left off, and it really focuses on Ezekiel, the kingdom, and his people. And basically, he's looking at himself in the mirror, and it almost seems to flash back to the good times. He's looking at himself in the mirror, getting ready for the day. He's looking out the window and surveying his people. And then it goes back to his big speech. And I think there are many famous speeches out there, like with Independence Day and stuff like that. This speech is fantastic, and I think it's one of those that can definitely stand on its own. But essentially, he says, fear not, be brave. And it goes back to that "and yet I smile" speech. Talking about all the things that will happen, all the obstacles, the possibility of death, and yet he still smiles because he's always had this optimism, even in the face of so many people that would do him and the kingdom harm. In the face of so much opposition, he's always maintained this sense of optimism, and like his speech says, "and yet I smile," and he has always brought hope to his people, and always makes them feel like, no matter what, I smile because in the end we will win, and seems so assured. And then it just flips right back to where we left off. The saviors have been shooting at them, and obviously now there's so much devastation, so much death, and Ezekiel, we see him crawl out from under a pile of dead bodies, essentially, some that have already started to turn into the undead, into zombies, and he's crawling out from under them, and he's looking at all this devastation and his death, and he's alive. But, obviously, he suffered a massive loss after just thinking, right before this happened, that they were in the clear, that they didn't lose one soul. And within a second, a blink of an eye, he lost so many of his men. So he just looks around and just screams in agony because he's just so overcome with grief. And basically, he watches as his men turn, and more of them start turning and coming after him, obviously, like they grab him, and he's like this close to getting bitten. He's obviously hurt. His leg is very, very bad. He's barely able to crawl. Like he's literally crawling away, trying to crawl away from these from his own men that are turning. And basically he has no ammo. He tries to get to another gun. It has no ammo. It's out of ammo. So, he's stuck in the worst predicament. He's about to die, and this man, one of his own men, saves him. One of the men from the kingdom, and he's got him up, got his arm over his shoulder. He's basically bringing him along to try to help him to safety. And, so it seems to be okay. It goes back to Carol. She's obviously survived, and she's in this kind of fenced in lot with inside of a building. She sees the saviors getting these guns. So obviously she's at one of their outposts where they have stored some of their weapons. And so she is basically shooting at them and finally kills quite a few of them. And you see her, this is like, I love her badass moments, and she shoots them and she climbs down from the ceiling. Like, there's one of those old school kind of ceilings that have those removable tiles, that are kind of like, I don't know what the material is, but they're really flimsy. So she climbs down from that ceiling after she's killed these men, and she's, stepping out of this room, and there's definitely more saviors. Like, there's even more down the hallway that you can kind of see there as she climbs down. So unfortunately, she's having to kind of like duck and cover and try to get away, and they realize quickly that she's killed these men, but they're more concerned with saving these weapons and getting them away than worrying about her. They're like, forget her, we're going to get these weapons and move on. So but yeah, so basically it goes back to Ezekiel. There's this massive horde of zombies coming now, including his own men. And his own man that has saved him, all of a sudden out of nowhere, is shot, if I'm not mistaken, in the head. And unfortunately, it's by a savior. And this savior takes Ezekiel. He, he's the one that has control of Ezekiel. He's at gunpoint. He is helping him, like, to stabilize himself since his leg is hurt, but he's the one that has him now. So that's not good, obviously. And so it goes back to Carol, and she's watching as these saviors load this ammo and these guns into a truck. And so they're loading it. So she, is like watching them. So she ends up shooting at them. And we watch as, like, Ezekiel slashes his captor in the stomach. And he still is, going on. And he, at this point, is going to kill Ezekiel because they get to this gate. The gate's locked. He realizes, like, he throws his jacket up over the fence because it's like kind of got like the chicken wire, like the barbed wire wrapped around the top of the fence. So he throws his jacket up there. He's basically going to save himself, and he tells them, the plan was to have you all chained to a fence, and show your people who's boss, that Negan's boss. But I mean, your head on a spike will do just fine, basically. So he's about to kill him when all of a sudden you see him split skull down, like right down the middle, by none other than Jerry. And holy hell, like, just the camera work on this, I can't even explain it to you. If you haven't seen it, I'm sure just that clip is on YouTube or probably in a GIF by now. But his whole entire body just splits in half, and it is pretty impressive. Not really sure how scientifically accurate that actually is, but it happens. So anyway, so he splits in half, and Jerry is one of Ezekiel's men, and he's like, I've got you, your majesty, and Ezekiel at this point, I mean, you can tell he's just like, he's tired of holding this title of this responsibility, and even so, you can kind of see him being like, don't call me that. He does that. So we go back to Carol. She is shot at the saviors. She's out of ammo, or well, kind of almost out of ammo. So she has no choice but to kind of like surrender, as she tells these saviors that, hey, I can tell you where the others are. Just let me live, And one of the saviors is going around to make sure she's unarmed, and so she can tell them where the others are located, and she's able to somehow maneuver herself in such a way where she overtakes the Savior at knife point, takes his gun, so she has more ammo, and I mean, again, more of her badass self, she overtakes the Savior. She's shooting at them again with this new gun that the Savior had, and she's able to maneuver her hand back and open the gate behind the Savior. So they've loaded up their weapons on this truck, but they have to go through this gate to leave. So she opens that gate, and this horde of zombies is coming in right behind them, and she's trying to shoot to you almost feel like, because the gunshots kind of overtake any sound and like kind of drown out the sound of them kind of groaning, I guess, as they come closer. So obviously the plan is to take them by surprise. So but yeah, it goes back to Ezekiel and Jerry fighting this horde of zombies, and I love this line because Jerry looks at Ezekiel. He's like, you know what, I just want to thank you, and I want to thank you for being a cool dude, is what he says. And during this time, like while Ezekiel and Jerry are fighting side by side, Carol sees them, and so she realizes that he's in trouble and that he needs help, and she has a flashback of him when she first kind of met him, and him telling her his backstory, and basically he's telling her of when he was a zookeeper, and actually reveals his true identity to her, and talks about working at the zoo and being the person who had to take care of the tiger, Shiva. And he said that he found Shiva in a pool of blood, and he was in this position of, he could either go, like, take a chance and jump into this her habitat where she was staying in this zoo, or he could let her bleed out and die. And he basically tells her, if you can be the hero, be the hero, because he chose to jump into the habitat and save Shiva. So Carol basically decides to save them and let the saviors take the guns and go. She makes a choice. So she runs to go help Ezekiel. The saviors take off with the guns and leave. And basically, luckily, as she opens the gate and brings them in and saves them from the zombie horde, she's like, well, you don't have to worry about the guns, because Ezekiel realizes that they've gotten away. She's like, oh, it's fine, I'll be taken care of. And then it flashes to Daryl and Rick. They're following the saviors. Like, Daryl's on his bike, his motorcycle, and Rick is in a vehicle, and they're like bearing down on these saviors that have the weapons. And of course they, like, you see them like you kind of see in a lot of movies out there, like they kind of get in such a way where they have it like a turret, and he's like shooting at them from the back of this truck. And so they're following them, and finally, like, they take out the guy that's on the turret. They're able to get it down to just the driver, and Rick pulls up beside him, and we have that like kind of Fast and Furious moment almost, where he like jumps from his vehicle to this vehicle that this guy's in, stabs the savior in the stomach, and basically you get the feeling is able to overtake this vehicle. So anyways, it's a pretty epic, little car chase scene, and kind of get that almost Hollywood feel from it with him, jumping from vehicle to vehicle to take it over. But then we go back to Ezekiel, and this is where it really kind of comes really back home, because Ezekiel finally just breaks, because they're like, Your Majesty, we got to get you to safety. And he's like, I am not your king. And like they're trying to get him through the woods and trying to, take him, back to the kingdom. And, obviously he's in bad bad shape. And they're like, come on, we gotta keep going. These zombies are closing in. There's like a small creek, it's muddy, and Ezekiel's like, look, I'm holding you guys up, you've got to leave me here and just save yourselves, I'll cover you. And they're like, no, we're saving you, you're our king and our majesty. And he's like, I am not your king. And he basically just finally, and here's where we get our title. He says, I'm just some guy. I'm not a king. I'm not, your majesty. I'm just some guy. And this is the first time he's really told anyone besides Carol. I mean, he didn't say, I'm just a low zookeeper or anything like that. He just says, I'm just some guy. So, during this kind of fiasco, like they finally they lower him down to like this dry creek bed, and they're pulling him up on the other side, and these zombies are closing in. And just when you think it's going to get bad or worse, Shiva shows up. And oh my gosh, you guys, just, oh my gosh, I literally cannot. I don't even know how to even start this part of this episode, because Shiva, for me, is one of my absolute favorite characters, because that will always be how I refer to her. She's not a pet. She is a character. She's like a person to me at this point. And she, like he saved her, she has become his own savior, his own kind of companion, like a druid has an animal companion. It's his animal companion, and it's a part of him in many ways. And she comes down to this creek bed where he's being saved by Carol and by Jerry, and she just starts ripping these zombies to shreds. But there are too many, and they surround her, and they unfortunately kill her. And it is just this, I can't, you guys, I am not over this. I can't even begin to tell you how devastating that was, just to see this happen, like this fierce creature. We've seen it with horses in this series. We've seen it in many instances with even humans, but never something so ferocious and able to defend itself as a tiger, a very large, massive tiger at that. So, and I'm sitting here like, no, like I'm yelling at the computer as I'm watching this, going, no, you can't do this, not Shiva, and no, like just horrible, just like screaming at them. But I mean, what can you do? It's it's them, it's AMC, it's The Walking Dead. So anyways, I mean, obviously, back to Ezekiel, he is beyond distraught at this point. They make it back to the kingdom, and he just kind of, you can tell that he's done. Like, he's not wanting to be the king and not wanting to be the majesty anymore. He's almost done with this kind of play acting, Shakespearean, like theatrical performance he's been having to put on, this brave face. He's tired of acting, and he's ready to just be some guy. And he's, especially now that he's lost so many of his men and people and his friends, and Shiva, definitely, he's not himself anymore, and he's not that same person. He's not King Ezekiel. He's back to just being Ezekiel. And I'm not really sure how that's going to take him. I mean, you see him walking by the women that are obviously waiting for their spouses or loved ones, like eagerly awaiting their return. And goodness knows they're probably those ones that were on the field, laying there and changing and turning, that are obviously not coming back. And like, he doesn't say anything, and they're like looking for these people, like, where are they? And instead of saying anything or trying to console his people, you see him kind of put his hand on a boy's head. I don't know, maybe if his dad was one of those, and just keeps walking. doesn't really acknowledge anybody that's waiting, doesn't say anything, just kind of puts his hand on the little boy's head and keeps going. So I mean, it's a really a rough moment. I mean, he's dealt with all this loss, and now his people are going to deal with it as well. I'm sure that they'll find out who all is deceased. So, what an episode, though. I mean, for episode 4, some guy. I mean, I can't even begin to express how crazy this episode was. So definitely, I mean, even for all the sadness, definitely with Shiva and with just him losing his men as he did, it was still a really hardcore, action-packed episode from the minute it started to the minute it ended. And I mean, holy heck, if again, there are episodes, if you go back and watch a series and we'll say you only hit the major episodes, this would be one. Hands down, this would be one of the big ones that you're gonna remember. So big kudos to them for finally coming out with an episode like that. Yeah, it was not definitely on the best of terms, but I'm hoping that maybe it will pick up and get happier. I don't know if you can in a zombie apocalypse, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, that was this episode of The Walking Dead, Season 8, Episode 4, called Some Guy. If you haven't already, definitely subscribe. We have a lot of cool stuff going on. I am giving away a copy of Destiny 2 this Friday. Today is now, when this comes out, it'll be Wednesday. So if you haven't already, subscribe to our channel. Check out that video on how you can win a copy of Destiny 2. And definitely subscribe, and you can like us on Facebook at facebook.com/the Nerdettes, and we post Walking Dead reviews, we post the Orville, Star Trek Discovery, we'll be reviewing The Punisher, which is coming out this weekend. It won't be this weekend, it'll probably be throughout the week next week that I actually review it. But I definitely will be reviewing it for you guys. We've already reviewed Stranger Things 2, and we'll be reviewing a lot of really cool stuff for you guys. And we're also doing unboxings of Loot Crate, Loot Anime, Scotchbox Japanese Snacks, Owl Crate, Think Geek Capsule. I've got Anime Bento coming. Just so many awesome things like that. We just did Fandom of the Month, so check that out and see all the cool stuff from fandom. And yeah, I mean, we've got live gaming streams coming up here real soon, probably within the next week or two. We're going to be starting that, so definitely check those out. They'll be going on live as I play some fun games for you guys, so check those out. And just definitely subscribe. We really appreciate you guys. We'll be giving away more awesome stuff closer to Christmas, so check that out. And hope to see you guys back. So thank you so much, and bye, guys.